I wrote a script originally for this video. It's like, I don't know, 5 or 6 pages long, but nah, forget that. I am voluntarily choosing to just verbal diarrhea instead of the wonderfully eloquent script that I spent hours putting together. This is the route I choose to go down, so suffer. How is it going, everybody? My name is DeMarco, and it's been quite some time since I've sat down just to have a talk with each of you. The last real vlog was in January of 2023 to welcome in the new year, so it definitely seems like something's overdue. And Maddie recently released a video called The End of an Era, and he did some similar stuff, just talking about what's going on, plans for Starfield, and all that great jazz. And I don't think he could have titled it better, because genuinely, it does feel like the closing, at least for me, of a chapter. Many of you know this isn't the first DamarcoDude. It's not. We had one before. We started over completely from scratch, and now here we are. We've grown to quite literally 4 times the size of that originally. So if that was the prologue, this was definitively chapter 1. And this is actually the second time I'm trying to record this. I got a bit emotional the first, too emotional for my liking, at least, in that first attempt. And so here we are, number 2. This is chapter 2 of, no, take 2 of chapter 2. You understand what I mean. So I wanted to kick it off. I know that most of you are here for Starfield. Most of you joined on board and subscribed because of the Starfield content on this channel. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for being here and really dive into what are the plans for the content going forward. And then if you're interested, I'll try my best to leave timestamps as accurate as I can down below, so you could kind of skip around a bit. But if you are interested, if that's all you're here for, great, we'll get it out of the way first, then into sort of what's going on in this big wrinkly mess I call a brain, and then sort of in doing so dive into what the future of the channel looks like and how we're doing and how we're feeling and all that great stuff. So first and foremost, we'll get it out of the way. Starfield. It's bittersweet. It's bittersweet. I remember 2018 and the only footage that we had to use was the teaser trailer, and I genuinely remember people getting annoyed. People were getting annoyed that that was all we had, and we'd show that in videos and they would be frustrated that they kept seeing it over and over and over again. But there was nothing else to work with, and I was part of that crew that was talking about Starfield. And it's a good time to be a Bethesda fan.
Well, have you checked Twitter this morning, my dear boy?
No, I haven't checked Twitter yet. I just woke up, mate.
Well, you might want to get on that then.
What have you done?
Don't worry.
What have you done?
Doodles!
What have you done? We're still talking about it now in 2023, and soon the game will be out for all of us to play. Now, I do need to start off by saying, unfortunately, I did not receive any type of review code or early access to try out Starfield, so there is going to be a monsoon of content on August 31st. I don't know the time that the embargo lifts. I assume it's sometime in the AM for the East Coast in the United States. But whatever time on August 31st, there is start building your flood walls now. That's all I can say, because it is going to come, and it's going to come hard. I'm very excited for the folks that are having these opportunities. Many creators that I know, that I've worked with in the past, that I talk to, and I'm very excited for those to have this chance. And so for myself, what I can say is, while I won't be getting anything at that time, there is a bit of a silver lining I'll talk about in a bit. But as far as content plans go, within the first week of Starfield's launch, I will do my absolute best to get out my early impressions of the game. And I know at that point, most people will either have already bought it or will already be playing it. But I hope some of you are still interested to hear those thoughts coming from me. So absolutely aiming for about 35 to 50-ish hours before I would feel comfortable even giving my opinion, my early opinions of the game. I am single-handedly going to be raising Uber's stock price, the amount I'm going to be ordering it, so I could just dig in like a tick and play this game. But I don't want to give an exact day or exact time or anything like that. Definitely within the first week, I'll do my damnedest to get out my early impressions of the game. And then comes the review. So kind of the silver lining of not having that early access is there's no pressure to kind of get anything out by a certain time constraint, as many content creators are working for now with the embargo. And especially when it comes to the reviews, they're probably the pieces of content I'm most proud of on this channel.
But it's by Respawn, they're the chosen ones. They're meant to bring balance to Star Wars games, not destroy them. You're not with me. My allegiance is to trying things out for yourself, to subjectivity. Then you're my enemy. Okay, dude. What is that? What are you even doing anymore? I hate you!
1000% inspired by the likes of Angry Joe, of course not exactly to that pedigree yet, but there are enough, and I don't mean any insult by this, it's just I think there's genuinely enough creators that will either, they'll be sitting and talking and then they'll go between their face and B-roll, or it'll just be straight B-roll with their thoughts on for 10, 15, 20 minutes or so, and I don't want to do just that. I want to take it a step further, and that's why I really love doing the skits that I've done in past reviews, and I want to keep growing them in scope and ambition and scale, improve the editing, add some more better effects and more props and costumes and all that great stuff. I love doing it, I really do. But of course, in addition to playing the actual game to get the review, recording the footage for it, planning out the skits, recording those, buying any props that I might need for it, that all takes a lot of time, and that's not factoring in any other content that I want to get out, so the channel's not left like a desert for a couple weeks. So this stuff takes time, and I really don't know how long it might take to get out a review for the game, but I hope some of you guys will keep me in mind, even though it might be at least a month later before that's possible to be ready. And because there's no real time constraint, it means I could play a bit more of the game at my own pace, which absolutely means another thought of what I would love to do is a let's play of the game. Another massive inspiration for the channel is 1000% Gopher Vids. He's amazing, he's so funny and so entertaining to watch, and I love the role play that he does. And I would love to be able to try to emulate that for myself, for my own playthrough and my own characters, even removing the face cam so that it has that perspective and that level of immersion, that it's telling this character's story more like a movie than like a Markiplier. That'll 100%, if I choose to go forward with it, be hosted on a different channel, so none of you here will be bothered with it, but it is something that I would heavily consider spending time doing and probably have a lot of fun with. I was thinking of playing Alan Grissom, and I'm still defining what Alan is all about in my head, but I will say that it is inspired by Alan Shepard and Gus Grissom. Both are famous astronauts. If you're interested, you could look them up a little bit. And then beyond the early previews, the review of the game, as well as the possible let's play of the title, there is also the other aspect to look forward to, which is the ongoing coverage of what's going on with Starfield, right? The DLCs, speculation about it, my thoughts on where the game could and should go, wish list for what I hope to see, all that great stuff. So look forward to those as well as we go throughout the journey of Starfield. And of course, there's going to be some DLC. It's probably going to end up being one of the most supported games from Bethesda to date. And there's also the lore and the guides and the builds and all that exciting stuff that I really want to plunge my hands into, but in the words of Steve Jobs, focus is being able to block out the other 500 amazing ideas. And so I think for a lot of that, there's other creators that have quite literally popped up. Lorefield is an excellent example who I've do podcasts with. Unless I completely pivoted my channel and what I want to do with it going forward, I wouldn't be able to just, I'm spreading myself way too thin. That doesn't mean there's not possible I won't experiment with some other types, and I'm open to suggestions. If you guys want to throw something my way, I'm always open to suggestions from you guys. It's the most important thing is you, the community. So we'll absolutely see, but there's definitely a lot to look forward to with Starfield going forward, and I'm excited to be able to jump into the game on August 31st, technically, is when the game comes out for me. I have to check my notes at least a little bit, so I somewhat loosely stay on track. Yeah, if that's all that, you wanted to hear about was the Starfield content, then let me just, before you do click off, say thank you so very much for your level of support. The channel is crawling its way to 4,000 subscribers, which is absolutely incredible, and I can't wait. And we have 5,000 milestone to hit probably before we know it, and that's awesome, going to be really cool as well. And I can't wait to keep growing with you guys, because this train isn't slowing down. So that's sort of the Starfield content and stuff out of the way, but I really wanted to just spend some time getting things I hold on to in my head and getting some of that out. But I did want to take a moment to just say thank you to each, and I know I say it a lot, but it's because, and I hope it doesn't water down the meaning of it, but I genuinely do appreciate every single one of you. This channel is built on a couple core pillars, and the first and foremost behind it is the community. That's genuinely the most important thing to me, and it never goes underappreciated. And I notice a lot, we genuinely are building together one of the, I think, best upcoming communities, and there's a lot of them with Starfield, but one of the best. And I say that, you know, I look all the time at various different places. I'm on Reddit, I'm scrolling through and seeing what people are saying there. I'm on my own channel, I'm on other channels, I'm on every creator's Discord, most creators' Discords, even though that's a lot to keep up with and I fall behind. But I do check in from time to time, and I barely ever see people saying anything bad about this channel. It's always people saying that they like what we do here, that they like the vibe, that they like the content we put out, they like the takes that are provided, and that is incredibly humbling and heartwarming to me. And I've met so many incredible people. Chris Harris, he was a massive part of why the thing I am most proud of on this channel, when we hosted Stars for Change and we raised over $2,000 for St. Jude, and not only did he donate over $500 towards that $2,000 goal, so literally over 25%. His generosity also was a huge part of what enabled us to be able to donate. I think it was at $700 worth of things that we gave away during that. It was at minimum $600 worth of stuff, and I can't do it without support from folks like him and you guys for watching the videos. And then Jonas as well, who's an incredible, he's the only moderator I have on this channel, and any time that I have a question or I need to ask about literally anything, Jonas is there and he answers, and he never asks for anything in return, and I could not have asked to make a stronger friend than there, and I'm so grateful for that as well. Again, it would take me over an hour to go through everybody, but if you've joined in on live streams, if you've left comments, you've been there in a stream when there's only 5 and you were one of the 5, and me, I was probably the second watching my own stream, then thank you for that. It all means so much to me, and I genuinely, I spend hours sometimes responding to comments because it is that important to me, because I want to answer everybody that I possibly can. I know that when I'm on the receiving end of these types of videos, there's probably several of you out there who are rolling your eyes a bit. You're like, this doesn't really apply to me. If you feel that way, use this as a sign, use this as a calling card to start interacting, engaging more, and I want to get to meet you, and I'd love to get to, this channel is not about, hey, it's DeMarco, look at me. That's not what this is about. It's always been about, I want as much of the barrier between us, the monitor or the screen or the glass that you're looking through, to be removed as possible. I want it to feel as though you could come hang out, we could play a game together. That's what I'm trying to build here. But if you've watched any of my videos, you've left a comment before in the past, never underestimate the power that a single nice comment can have. This same thing was echoed by Mr. Matty Plays. It's not trying to boost our own egos, and he has 500,000 subscribers, and he still feels the same way. It does mean a lot to see those kind words and to see that affirmation that you're doing the right thing and going in the right direction. When you make content, you just naturally put yourself in a vulnerable state, because the entire world is free to come in and judge and critique, and that's fine. Nobody's saying only praise me, only reward me, but those positive comments and spreading that positivity, it's very powerful. And that kind of leads me to this last bit here, which is that the future of the channel is bright. I'm really excited to be looking forward for everything that's going to come for all of us involved here, because it is absolutely a team effort. The launch of Starfield feels it. Can you feel it? It feels like a new chapter, and after this, of course, I'm excited for Starfield, but let me just tell you, Elder Scrolls is my favorite franchise, and that is exactly what I've been waiting for, and I can, as excited as I am for Starfield, Elder Scrolls just inevitably will take the cake, and that's what's coming next, and you better be ready for all of it that's coming in the future for that. People have called me a fanboy before. My god, just you wait. Especially if Starfield is as successful as I think it's going to be, and sort of the disposition towards Bethesda as a whole does a complete 180. It's gonna be good. The wait for Elder Scrolls 6 is gonna take a long time, and that's after we get past all the Starfield DLC, but you still got some exciting titles, and we're gonna be covering them here, as many as I can that I think are feasible, that I know enough about, where I don't get called out for not knowing enough about these games. But you have something like The Witcher 4, and oh man, and The Witcher Remake as well, because that's something that I'm really looking forward to and can't wait to see those titles. Avowed as much as I possibly can. Dragon Age I'm 50-50 on, but Mass Effect, Mass Effect, I know that one's a long wait as well, but that's something else to look forward to. Of course, other Bethesda Softworks titles. You thought I was gonna leave those out? Bethesda Softworks titles. You got Indiana Jones that's coming. Hell yeah, from Machine Games. I love those guys. You have Prey 2 that I know Arcane you're working on. I know you're working on Prey 2. Whatever Arcane Leon is working on after Deathloop, they got some new projects that are in the works too, so that to look forward to from Bethesda Softworks. Of course, Tango. I'm recording this after the fact. While I'm doing the editing, I was thinking I could phrase some of this stuff so much better. But ultimately, the goal for the channel, I think, is to really shift in a direction more towards wider RPGs. Of course, Bethesda Softwork titles, always gonna be at the heart of this entire channel. I just can't help it. They make some of my favorite games of all time, and that's just what it is. But I do want to grow more than just being, hey, he's a Bethesda guy. A large part of that and a core of that is I want to really focus in on, as much as the time enables, to keep pushing some of those reviews. And I hope you guys will join me along for that, because again, it really is one of my favorite things to do and some of the work I'm the most proud of. Something I've been talking about for ages and I haven't done it yet, but a series called Quick Remarks, where it, and yes, it's absolutely the remarks like DamarcoDude. So there you go. And everybody, I asked everybody, they unanimously said that it was amazing and hilarious and very punny, and they loved it. But it would be these shorter, more simple reviews that are more like what you traditionally see for a game review, that it's more digestible. You don't have the skits and stuff like that. But I would love to do that for some smaller titles. And then again, back re-recording some stuff, but doing more parodies in general.
Stop! You violated the law. Pay the court a fine or serve your sentence. Your stolen goods are now forfeit. Then pay with your blood!
Especially if I'm going out and I'm buying props for reviews, eventually I'll hopefully have some bit of a wardrobe, and I could use some of that stuff to do some funny parodies, like what you see Viva La Dirt League. I've mentioned them before because I love what they do, and that honestly would be a dream, to be able to get to do some of the skits with the production value that they're able to create. There's definitely a lot that I'm looking forward to, and just, it's in a short amount of time. I think it's been 2 years. We moved from literally being in this tiny dark corner to this beautiful. I just realized the only Elder Scrolls thing, I'm talking about how much I love Elder Scrolls, and the only Elder Scrolls decor I have is knocked over. I know. Fake fan. I'm a great fan of the series, aren't I? Thank you all so much for being a part of this journey, and I look forward to continuing it with each and every one of you. This is an exciting time. And it's only going to get better from here. So thank you all so much, and as always, I hope to see you all next time. So long, everybody.